Nancy Drew, Secret of Shadow Ranch, the last Nancy Drew that I will be doing for this series. So let's jump into it. Nancy Drew is going to visit, where she's going with her friends, to this ranch that her friends, aunt and uncle, I think, own. And of course, when they get there, as most Nancy Drews begin, there is a lot of weird things happening at the ranch. There's been some sabotage. There's been sightings of this ghostly horse that glows in the dark. And Nancy, of course, immediately says, somebody is trying to run these people off the ranch. So she's like, I'm going to figure out who it is and why. At the same time, there's also another girl there. Bess and George are there, and then this other girl named Alice, who's also related to them. Alice is a little bit younger, and strangely enough, her dad has been missing for a few months. What happened was that there was a bank robbery at the bank that he worked at, and he hasn't been seen since the bank robbery. Of course, the police think, oh, he must have been in league with the bank robbers, but Alice is like, no, that can't happen. My dad was a good person. And of course, you know that this has something to do with the mystery as a whole. So at the surface, a pretty straightforward mystery for Nancy Drew. We have, the two the mysteries that we know we're probably going to intersect. We have the area that is being plagued by somebody creating, weird things happening. So that's pretty standard. What they do throw in to this one to make it a little bit different than the others is that there's a mystery also involving a treasure that is supposedly on the property, and of course that has something to do with it. But because of that, we get a lot of history of the place. Shadow Ranch becomes a much more important sort of character in itself almost, because you have all this history and you find out about these two people that used to live here, and they had a romance or whatever, and so you find out all about that, which is cool. It's like a fun little added bonus because it's like normal Nancy Drew, plus you get a little bit of history, which makes the whole thing just a lot richer. This book, I would say, is the best one yet, simply because it's very compelling. You have the same compelling, like, oh, you need, like, this mystery needs to be solved sort of thing going on. But it is also not too much like past books have had, like bombs and crazy things happen like that, and it's not too much. You kind of understand why the bad guys do all the things that they do, sort of. And there's always a little bit of like, you're blowing this too much out of proportion, but that's with every Nancy Drew bad guy. And you also get like the history and the cuteness, and you also get Nancy has a little bit of a fling with one of the guys, and all that kind of stuff. It's a good amalgamation of everything that the past Nancy Drew books have been. All the kind of positive points of that, plus a little bit more. So I really liked this one. I would say this is the tightest and the best flowing one of the series. And so that's good. We have like there were two that were kind of lackluster, and then we have 3 out of the 5 that I read that were really, really good books. I think, as there are tons and tons of Nancy Drew books. I think no matter what, you're taking a gamble when you read one. They're definitely fun when you're a kid, just easy sort of reading, and they're not super predictable, I would say. They try to shake things up a little bit for each one. So I think they're a lot of fun, and they're very cute, and I think definitely if I ever have kids, I would say, here, read Nancy Drew books. Because they're innocent, but they're interesting. The kids aren't going to catch on that they're innocent, because it's like, ooh, there's bomb threats, and there's possible ghosts and stuff like that. So it's kind of a tricky book in that way. So it's a lot of fun. The next book that I will be reading is a standalone novel called She. It's super old, and I remember it being super fun in a kind of, I don't know, there's a lot of sexual tension if I remember correctly, so it'll be interesting to review that one and see if there's as much as I remember. But anyway, I'll get back to you guys on that and I'll see you later. Bye!